We are live, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call to order the City Council meeting for Thursday, March 13th. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record show that all members of the City Council are here this evening. The first item on the agenda is we're going to present the oath of office for the new Planning Commissioner, Darshpal Jolly Dillon. Mr. Dillon, if you would join me at the podium. Because we'll use the microphone, okay? So why don't you stand on this side over here? So you can stand right next to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really proud tonight that we're going to be able to fill a vacancy on the Planning Commission with Mr. Dillon. Mr. Dillon has been a long-time resident for the city of Newark. He's been very active in volunteering around the city. His wife Nadia and Jolly have been very active in the scouting around the city. They've been Newark residents for over 30 years, proud parents of 2 children, so we're really happy to have Mr. Dillon on the Planning Commission. And so I'm going to go ahead and prepare and read the swearing in here. So Mr. Dillon, if you would raise your right hand and put your left hand here, my friend. I, Darshpal Dillon,
I, Darshpal Dillon,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution
to the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of California,
of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any
mental reservation
mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
that I will
well and faithfully
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Excellent. Congratulations. So, Mr. Dillon, I'm going to go ahead and have you sign here. I'll have you sign right here. And I will sign here. And I know that we want to get some family photographs, so if I can have the family come on up here, have you hold this. Jolly, Mayor Nagy, why don't you join us?
Would you like me to take the picture?
Please.
Would you like Eve to take the picture?
Sure.
Ready?
Yeah, well, let the council colleagues join.
Okay.
Come on in, guys.
Okay.
Well,
I'll stand next to you.
Wow, you look really short over there. I'm not talking to Eve.
Really?
all right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Very good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Nope, 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 nope.
Nope.
Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Of course,
We'll
yes.
certainly give you a copy. The next item on the agenda, ladies and gentlemen, this is really an important event, and it's one we celebrate every year. It's the Proclaiming March as American Red Cross Month. And I understand Ian Servin is here to accept the proclamation. Ian?
Yes, sir.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you again.
When I literally say that the American Red Cross gets a pint out of me every 60 days or so, I'm not too far from the truth.
Yeah.
You know, they love that O negative blood. And for those of you that are O negative, which my wife and I both are, we can give to anybody. But you know, we can't get anything from you unless you're O negative as well. I'm not going to call you selfish. It's just the way it is. But we really appreciate what the American Red Cross does. And it's not just in collecting valuable blood and platelets, which are important to those folks that are suffering or need assistance. But anytime there's tragedies around the United States or around the world, the American Red Cross is there to help. And a long history of helping, and we greatly appreciate it. So I'm proud to announce the month of March as the American Red Cross Month. Whereas March is American Red Cross Month, when we recognize the compassion of people in Newark and renew our commitment to lend a helping hand to our neighbors in need. Whereas the American Red Cross volunteers have stepped up to deliver relief and care across our country and around the world, bringing out the best of humanity in times of crisis, as Clara Barton, founder of the American Red Cross, did over 140 years ago. Whereas the volunteers, blood and platelet donors, and supporters shine a beacon of hope in people's darkest hours, delivering shelter, food, and comfort during disasters, providing critical blood donations for hospitals, patients, supporting service members, veterans, and their families, saving lives with first aid, CPR, AED, and other skills, or delivering international aid and reconnecting loved ones separated by global crisis. Whereas with 1,638 volunteers in Alameda County, the American Red Cross assisted or responded to 163 disasters, assisting 305 families, and through their Sound the Alarm program, the American Red Cross installed 988 smoke detectors, making 291 homes safer, and trained 2,544 youth and adults through the Pedro and preparedness programs. Whereas Alameda County residents donated 30,572 units of life-saving blood, hosted 1,154 blood drives, and trained 13,893 citizens in first aid, CPR, AED, and aquatics, and provided 455 case services to military members and their families, and provided humanitarian aid internationally. Whereas this work to uplift our community to make possible by those who selflessly answer the call to help whenever and wherever it is needed, we hereby recognize this month as March in honor of the remarkable service, and we ask everyone to join in their commitment to care for one another. Now, therefore, I, Michael Hannon, along with my council members, declare March 2025 as American Red Cross in Newark, and urge all citizens to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. And I would encourage you folks, those that have given blood, please continue to do so. Those that have not had the opportunity to do so, it takes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and the refreshments you get are second to none. They're little Oreo cookies or whatever the case may be, but please consider giving. You may be in a situation yourself someday where that precious pint of blood could help you or a family member. Let's do what we can to help our fellow man. So it's with great pleasure I present this to you.
Thank you very much.
Did you want to
Appreciate
say a
it.
few words?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Vice Mayor and City Council members. So my name's Ian Servin. I'm a volunteer at the Red Cross. I've been at the Red Cross for almost a decade now, which is crazy to think about. I'm so honored to come before you for Red Cross Month when we get together and celebrate the American Red Cross for its humanitarian commitment to serve communities just like this one all across the United States and around the world. When help can't wait during a disaster or a crisis, we, the American Red Cross volunteers, we step up and we make sure that those who are in need get the help that they need and the relief that they need. The American Red Cross has a very long partnership of working with the city of Newark. And you've heard some of the things that we've done by the numbers in the county and here locally. I just want to emphasize, the broad work that we do, and really it requires participation from the community. I love being a volunteer because I get to invest in the community that I live and work in every day. And it's so great to be able to give that back. And I really appreciate the commitment that all of you have to the Red Cross and with this proclamation. So I just want to say on behalf of myself, our other volunteers, our staffers, and the entire organization, thank everybody here for supporting the American Red Cross. I really appreciate it.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is a presentation from our librarian, Mr. Joe Stoner. This is actually, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most exciting presentations I see every year. And you'll be marveled at the amount of citizens and children that we service throughout the Newark Library. So I'm excited about this presentation, Mr. Stoner.
Thank you, Mayor and council members and city staff. So I want to remind all of us, so I'm sure you're well aware, it's now been 3.5 years since the new library has been open. With our Sunday hours.
Is that the Alan L. Nagy Library?
It is indeed. And our Sunday hours have been added, funded by the city since July 2023. So thank you for that. Let's see. So to start out, I do have some statistics for you. You can see what the trends have looked like over the last few years. If we add in the numbers from fiscal year 21-22, from when the new library opened, we've now had a total of over 416,000 visitors in the new library. And I project we're on track to reach 500,000 visitors by our 4th anniversary in August 2025. I especially like to look at the hourly average visitors because I think that's the best measure of our busyness day to day, and you can see what the trend is there. We are actually currently at about half of the hourly average for the Fremont Main Library. So in a much bigger building, we are seeing half as many visitors, which I think I'm very proud of. I think it's a reflection of what we offer in our beautiful Alan L. Nagy Library. I want to point out, so from fiscal year 22-23 to 23-24, that's when we added the Sunday hours, and we saw a large 40,000 visitor increase. I would attribute about half of that to adding the Sunday hours. On weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, we often see 100 visitors per hour. So at that rate, that would account for about half of that 40,000 increase. There are Sundays, as I was looking back over the last year, where we were reaching 140 visitors per hour. So around 600 visitors in 4 hours. I included this slide from the Newark Unified School District just for context. These are some stats that I often keep in mind as we plan our programs at the library, especially looking at the percentage of low-income students and percentage of English learners. So what does that mean for the library? One thing it means is we partner with NUSD year-round to offer lunches after school and then during the summer. For comparison, the state library runs a separate summer lunch program, and in that program, they averaged 1,800 lunches per site, whereas at Newark Library, we serve closer to 4,800. So 3,000 more. We're averaging about 150 lunches a day. And since we offer the service year-round, completely supported by NUSD, they provide the lunches and the staff to serve the food. I think we've served over 20,000 meals for age 1 to 18 out of the lobby of the Newark Library. Another way that, let me try this. Just trying to move forward. Now it goes. Okay. So another way that this reflects our programming is there are some other Alameda County libraries, but not all, that also offer homework help. But we do this every Monday through Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. We schedule 10 high school student volunteers each hour to work with students K through 8. It's always especially gratifying to me to see students whose parents don't speak English, who have no other financial resources to hire private tutors. I've heard parents tell me it can cost $50 an hour to hire a private tutor. We get a lot of our referrals for this from the NUSD Parent Partner Office. Just as a quick aside, the range of questions we get asked at the library. We recently had a community college student looking for tutoring for the MATLAB software used by engineers and scientists. They weren't able to find any tutoring on campus, so they came to the public library. And we were able to direct them to LinkedIn Learning, which is provided free through the library website with your library card. Formerly lynda.com, but it's now called LinkedIn Learning, which had hundreds of video tutorials to use MATLAB. So I just wanted to mention we always look for a solution no matter what questions we get asked. Another way those demographic stats impact our planning is our partnership with Bay Area Community Health. So for 2 years now, Newark Library has hosted Bach's annual Ohana Health Fair, serving the whole Tri-Cities area by hosting it inside the library. And I know, Mayor Hannon, you've been there to greet the attendees. In August, it's definitely more comfortable to hold the health fair inside than outdoors as they were previously. We've seen 600 to 700 attendees both years in the 4 hours of the health fair, with Bach arranging for about 24 area nonprofits to table. Bach also brings out representatives from many of their clinic departments, including their mobile clinic, to provide health screenings and health information. So this is a partnership we look forward to continuing to the future. Shifting gears, we do try to provide a wide variety of cultural programs at the library. As far as I'm aware, Newark Library is the only library in the Bay Area with a grand piano, pictured here. That particular group is called the Alea Project. They're a fusion Indian Carnatic and jazz fusion group that has performed all across the US now, although they are based in the Bay Area. We've also hosted traditional Chinese music and our annual Diwali festival, pictured on the lower right, which was held in the Silliman Center gym this year. We've also held theater performances. This particular one was taught and organized by several professional actors originally from Latin America who worked with our community members to script and rehearse and act out parts of their life story. And it was especially powerful program that we hope to bring back to the library. In the lower photo, this was a concert of Egyptian music that we held to celebrate Arab American Heritage Month, led by Basma Idris on violin, who graduated from the Juilliard School. Their oud player, I always enjoyed hearing, had started out as a rock and jazz guitarist in Cairo before switching to oud. And we also held a Baroque music festival with a performance by Google employees. The Google Music Salon performed the entire Bach Goldberg variations. It's 30 variations, so it's a very extensive piece, which they performed in the library. And then we had a high school student who buys and sells and repairs harpsichords bring in some of his instruments for people to try out. So just quickly to review some more of the programs that we offer. As I mentioned, homework help. We also offer regular story times in English, Arabic, Russian, Spanish, and occasionally in Mandarin. One of my absolute favorite things that we offer are English conversation groups. We have 2 for adults and 1 for teens now, for a comfortable place to practice speaking English for people who are learning English. And I would invite all of you, if you have a chance, to sit in on even one of these meetings. To me, this is the essence of community building. It's the best place I think we can hear what people are concerned about and hear about people's life experiences and what brought them to Newark. We offer other regular music programs. First Saturday of the month, organized by the EternityBand.org. They also organized our Baroque Festival and organized our annual Diwali Festival. Over the summer, I hope we can keep this going, but we've been able to offer an ESL camp for youth. So this is for age 9 to 13. We offer 4 weeks, an hour and a half to 2 hours a day for students 9 to 13 who are brand new to the US and don't speak any English. These students are more common in our community than you might imagine. Of course, we have our teen advisory group, which meets every 2 weeks now, and they plan and organize a variety of programs. We've had hip hop dance, craft programs, gaming nights, that sort of thing. This year, the library partnered with Gene Ficklin's Afro-American Cultural and Historical Society on the Black History Month festival held at the Silliman Center. As you can see, we have lots of other programs. I did want to specifically mention Tiburcio Vasquez Health Center. I think their staff have presented probably 100 programs at the library now, all in Spanish, many of them mental health programs. It's been a really fruitful partnership on both sides. And of course, over the summer, we try to provide a wide variety of fun and educational events. We get our biggest crowds when we bring in animals. We do have reptiles in the library sometimes. We've had parrots, but we have musicians and magicians, storytellers, a wide variety. So this was something we had never done before this last fiscal year. In partnership with the City Economic Development Department, we developed a 6-week business startup workshop taught in English. At the time, we had a temporary library staff member who had experience as a business consultant who taught the class. That went so well that we were able to receive a grant from the Alameda County Library Foundation to fund a Spanish language business series. That culminated with what they called Jaguar Tank, because the other name was trademarked. That was taught by Juan Caro, who's not pictured here, and Jaime Riascos. And that, again, was a very well-received series. We are looking into bringing that back at some time in the future, and they are looking to take it to other communities around the Bay Area as well. I have to mention that ebooks are extremely popular with the Libby app. I love my e-audiobooks, and we're checking out over 1 million ebooks a year now. And of course, you can get California State Parks passes at the library. You can check out for 3 weeks and get free access to not every state park, but to around 200 of them. I think the most popular ones you still have to pay for. So to end, I did want to tell you a very quick story about one of our really outstanding volunteers. Jovita, pictured here for about a year now, has been teaching in Spanish a computer class. This particular night, I brought in some of our younger library staff to show the students a glimpse of what computer coding looks like. And the other piece I wanted to tell, just briefly to share the story, is about Jovita's daughter, who graduated from Newark schools, attended Schilling Elementary, graduated from Newark Memorial, became a nurse, and has now been admitted to medical school. And I tell this because these are the kinds of stories that we hear frequently at the library, and I think it's important to challenge some of the negative stereotypes that are out there about Latino students in particular, and about the Newark schools. We really value our partnership with the school district, and look forward to continuing that in the future. And with that, are there any questions?
Let me, Joe, ask if there's any questions from anybody in the audience or comments from anybody in the audience before I turn it back over to the council. Yes, ma'am, please come forward.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
No, I just wanted to say, Joe, I'm glad we coincidentally are here at the same time that we were able to see the presentation, because like it's amazing what you do. And I'm with Greenbelt Alliance. We'll talk in a little bit, but the library was also an amazing partner to us. They have a very busy schedule, as you saw, and Joe still carved out time for us to come facilitate a Sea Level Rise workshop at the library. It was amazing. We look forward to continuing to partner with the library, and I will never miss a chance to advocate for the library, because it's way more than just books. And they've been an amazing partner for us in community engagement. And so, you know, if you're ever in doubt, like definitely, yes, continue to invest in the library, because we need them and they're amazing.
Great.
And that's it.
Thank you for the comments. Others that want to comment on this item? Turn it over to my colleagues for comments, questions.
I have a comment.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
So I just want to say thank you for absolutely everything. And I had 2 real quick questions. How are you measuring your head count as people came in? You had very exact numbers. Is there like a little clicker as people walk through? Is there a security camera? How are you?
We have an automatic counter at the front door,
Okay.
which divides by 2. So it counts bodies going in and out and divides by 2.
Okay. And also for the performers, do you pay the performers like the Egyptian music performers and are they paid, or are they all volunteer, or is it a combo of both?
Generally, they're paid, and we have a variety of funding sources. We do have some money in our regular library budget to hire performers, but we also have funding from the Newark Library League, our library nonprofit, and the treasurer is Mayor Nagy Emeritus.
Hey, you know, his name's on the building. He's got to make sure you.
Yeah, that's really smart. I just want to say truly from my heart, thank you so much for what you offer. I think there's a stereotype of libraries that it's just all books. And I've worked with you a couple of times, and I thought I knew what you do, and this totally blew me away. I'm blown away, and I think it's great that you're offering stuff in bilingual, items. So honestly, if you need my help, I'll go ahead and say it right now. Reach out to me if you ever need a translator, or if you need someone to come and speak in Spanish, even if it's just to walk around and do stuff, I would be more than happy to volunteer with you. I think it's awesome. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Great. Other questions? Councilmember Grindal.
looks like it is now. Joe, thank you so much for this fantastic presentation and all the work you do for the library. Really heartened by your working with the school district, making this really happen for our residents. Sorry. Happy to see the Sunday hours are super successful. Are Friday hours next?
With the money, we could consider it.
Great. So there's no reason except money why you wouldn't be open on Fridays. Your staff doesn't need a break or anything
Well, we would need more staff, which requires more money.
right. So money is the solution.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Councilmember, other comments? Councilmember Del Contancio.
Yes, thank you so much. Actually, the Allen Nagy Library is truly exceptional. And so all the work that you're doing, it's just really giving back to the community. And we could see that there's even students that are tutoring younger students. And so that's just amazing. It's perfect. I especially love the fact that you're looking at the data from the school districts to determine how to assist with different things for our community. So I really want to say thank you for that. I've also taken part in the book club too, and so that's wonderful. I did also want to note that Stanford does have students in the area come to our library to do their interviews for prospective students. And so that's really wonderful too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, great presentation. Just a couple questions. Joe, I know you mentioned you have 10 high school volunteers that help with after-school homework and things of that nature. Are you limited to high school students, Joe? Can other adults participate?
For the tutoring, we use exclusively high school students. We do have adult volunteers for other activities. We've had a short hiatus on accepting new adult volunteers, but we expect that to open up again in the near future.
Okay. Please let me know and the colleagues know the English conversation dates and times that those folks meet. I think it would be important for us to drop in if we have the opportunity to do so.
I can tell you right now.
Listen into what's going on and participate if we can.
Mondays, 12 to 1:30. And Thursdays, 4 to 5:30. Those are the current times.
Okay. And is that upstairs, Joe?
Yes, they all meet upstairs.
Great. And the last question I had, the 9 to 13 youth camps that you mentioned there was some issue on whether or not it was going to be able to continue. Is it a money issue, Joe? Is it a staffing issue? What might be the area of concern in that area?
It can be both. So for that summer ESL camp, it's a big time commitment, so I can't dedicate any of my regular staff to it. So we've always needed to find someone we hire as a performer to do that. We've always found someone. So it's always a little tricky, but I think we'll pull it off.
Okay, great.
It's not a huge amount of money, but if you're looking to donate, we're happy to take your donations too.
Great. I know somebody that might be affiliated with the Newark Rotary that might be able to make a minor contribution in that regard. So, yeah, let us know what those needs are, Joe.
Okay.
Not just Rotary, but other service agencies around the community that might be able to participate. And if you could maybe get that information to the city manager, he can pass it on to us. Okay?
Sure.
Thanks, Joe, for the great presentation as always. Greatly
Thank you.
appreciate when you come. Thank you. Just on a personal note, my wife worked at the Newark Library for many, many years, and to all those naysayers, and I think the vice mayor kind of captured it, those that said, libraries are obsolete. All they do is books, and you can get books online, you can go online. When you see that we provide over 399 programs, and the volume of folks that come in and out of this library, and I see them every day walking into the library, it's so much more than that. People that make those statements are just simply not in tune with what we provide. And just watch this presentation and your eyes will be open in terms of all the benefits that we get from our library, which is the reason, and I look to my colleague, Mayor Nagy, that's why we put the library at the corner. If you look at the original City Hall development, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Benoon, if you look at the original City Hall development, City Hall is going to be at the corner. Library was going to be behind it. But when we recognized the value of the library and the volume of folks that utilize the library, it just made sense to put the library on the corner, kind of as the staple of the Civic Center project. And it's done nothing but be a real credit to the community. So thank you, Joe, for your leadership. It's greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, the next part of the agenda is public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to comment on any item that is not on the agenda tonight. Is there anybody in the audience? Seeing nobody. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. You know that. Come on. And I'm not going to take away the 1.5 minutes that you spoke regarding the. No, I'm just kidding.
It's okay. My comment is not that long.
No, welcome. We're glad to have you.
Yeah. How's it going, everyone?
It's going great.
Well, good evening. Mayor, City Council members. My name is Victorina Arvello. I'm with Greenbelt Alliance. I'm a resilience manager there, and I am the leader for our Newark work, which focuses on making sure that we find ways for Newark to grow and make it stronger economically, socially, but also environmentally. It's great to see everyone here today. A lot of new faces for me, but the last time that I saw most of you in one room was for the Newark on the Move Candidate Forum, which we brought about 80 people into that room, and we were really grateful for the opportunity to help voters make an informed decision, and we were especially grateful for you all to be able to or willing to engage so openly and actively in that space. So that, people could make an informed decision. And we're just lucky that Newark has so many committed leaders that really want to make a difference and try to shape its future. And we're here to support that leadership in every way that we can. At Greenbelt Alliance, our mission is to educate, advocate, and collaborate to ensure that the Bay Area's land and people are resilient to climate change. And today, I really want to emphasize the people part because resilience isn't just about the environment. It's about economic stability, it's about housing affordability, and it's about making sure that Newark grows in a way that benefits everyone. For our New York Council members, I just wanted to quickly highlight that Greenbelt Alliance did work with the City of Newark in the process of the housing element, and that we in general are in support of high-density infill transit-oriented development, and we are in full support of any developments that are in the housing element because those are great sites, and we were really eager to see that work move forward. But we also recognize that at the core of this discussion is Newark's future. And not just in terms of growth, but economic resilience in the long term. Flood insurance rates are rising, infrastructure costs are climbing. Every dollar spent on resilience today is going to save us money in the long term. In fact, there is a study by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce that shows that for every dollar spent on resilience now, we can save up to $7 in disaster recovery costs later on, and that's just a number that we can't afford to ignore. And I also wanted to tell you that, we believe that environmental advocacy traditionally has been an oppositional force. Groups fighting against development, maybe getting in the way of progress, and so solely focusing on conservation and not economic or social needs. But that's not what environmental advocacy, modern environmental advocacy is, and especially not for us here at Greenbelt Alliance. We believe that environmental advocacy today is solutions-oriented, it's collaborative. It's no longer just about protecting open space, which is important, but we know how closely connected land use decisions are to economic resilience by reducing long-term costs for the city, lowering risk for homeowners, and attracting investment. We also know that social equity is a core part of resilience, as it was mentioned in the library's amazing presentation. So the way that Newark grows today will determine who can live here, who has access to jobs, and who is most impacted by climate change. So when we say that environmental advocacy is changing, we mean is we're not here to fight against you. We are here to work with you to make sure that we can support New York's leadership, making decisions that are smart, that are forward-thinking, and that will benefit residents today and the future.
Thank you.
And that's it. that is all I have for you today. You know
Perfect.
how to contact me. I've been in meetings with some of you already, but I will schedule more meetings with some of you separately. And yeah, always open to any comments, David. I think we've never met in person, but anytime. Yeah.
And we recognize the importance of climate change. As
Of
you
course.
know, we've hired a consultant, Mr. Benoon, who's doing a study currently on climate change as it might, and sea level rise,
Mm-hmm.
as it might impact the city of Newark. And do we have a date when we anticipate
It's in
that?
April.
Oh, my gosh.
There's a community meeting held in April on April 17th.
Okay.
At
in
the
Zoom.
library.
Excellent. See, we're just continuing to advocate.
We're
you know.
bringing it back to the library.
So
yeah.
we look forward to that presentation at the library. We certainly look forward to that presentation then coming to the council, because you're right. These are all important issues that we need to stay focused on for the betterment of our communities.
Exactly.
Don't disagree
I
with
agree.
that.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all for your time.
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
Yes, hi.
Hi, I'm Zoe Siegel, and I also work with Victorina at Greenbelt Alliance. And just sort of following up on her comments and related to the climate change and sea level rise piece, I wanted to take a moment to explain a little bit more about our work and some of the nuances that we navigate when it comes to Newark's growth and resilience. And so, at the same time that Greenbelt Alliance advocates for smart housing development, we also really remain committed to protecting the baylands and the wetlands, around the region. And the last time I spoke in front of this city council was nearly 6 years ago, when you were all, well, not most of you, but your predecessors, some of you, were voting on Area 4. And since then, the flood predictions have only worsened, and as state and federal funding has really, not kept up. And Newark really is in a truly unique position. It's home to some of the last 10% of the Bay Area's wetlands. It's incredibly rare and really worth protecting, not just for the environmental reasons that you've all heard before, but really for economic and safety reasons as well. And I know you've seen our Greenbelt Alliance's name on letters from environmental groups, and I do want to be upfront that we're not just here to talk about, Maori Village or Area 4. Our work is a lot broader than that, and we really want Newark residents to be engaged and aware of how both climate and housing policies can impact their daily lives. And so they can make informed decisions and participate in the shaping of the city's future. That's why we're not just showing up at meetings or signing onto letters. We're really actively working on the ground. Some of the things that we've done have already been mentioned. Just in the past few months, we've organized multiple community cleanups and outdoor events, including one this weekend at Don Edwards on Saturday, where we have 125 people signed up already in partnership with Vice Mayor. And we've led 3, and if any of you want to join, we can make some space.
We need help.
We can open the guest list again. And we've also led 3 sea level rise awareness workshops at the library, engaging nearly 20 to 30 people of all ages at each session. And 5 years ago, Greenbelt Alliance identified Newark as a climate resilience hotspot, and prior to that, it had been identified as other places to protect and conserve in previous Greenbelt Alliance reports for decades now. We all know that Newark is really a flood-prone city, and regional experts have made it clear that there's nowhere near enough funding to really protect the infrastructure that already exists. So that's why we really want to think long-term, and we know that growth is necessary and important, but the decisions we made today must really set Newark up for success for 10, 20, 30 years from now. I know you all know that. And really, we want to work together to create safety and financial security for existing and future residents down the line. We're really happy to see the Climate Action Plan is really coming together and that there's an engagement meeting happening soon. And we're especially glad that it's going to be hybrid, making it a lot more accessible for residents. That said, we would really encourage the city to make this meeting as accessible and productive as possible. We recommend that the workshop materials and agenda are shared well in advance so that people know what to expect and can really come prepared with meaningful input. And also that those materials are translated into languages spoken in the community so that residents, regardless of, don't have any language barriers. Also, we would love it if the meetings were promoted a little bit more through a variety of channels, not just online. We'd love to see, flyers, hopefully in the library and elsewhere to see where, so people can really get engaged and show up. And then also consider providing, food, childcare stipends to really remove some of the common barriers for participation. So as Newark moves forward, we will continue to advocate for smart, resilient development, growth that works with nature, not against it. Newark has an incredible opportunity to really lead the way the Bay Area develops and conserves, and we're really excited to be a part of that conversation with you all. Thank you, and we look forward to continuing this conversation.
Great, thank you very much. And I know Mr. Benoon, our city manager, heard your requests and suggestions regarding making sure we get that information out as soon as possible so we can get this word out to as broad a community as we possibly can. The one comment you made about engaging our residents, couldn't agree with you more. I mean, the more folks that participate in the process, the better we are as a community. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other comments under public comment? All right, we will close the public comment section and turn to the consent calendar. The consent calendar consists of the approval of the audited demands, the approval of the February 27, 2025 minutes, 3, the mid-year budget review, and adopt a resolution amending the 24-26 biennial budget and capital improvement plan for fiscal year 2025. Ms. Benoon, is there any item you want to pull off the consent calendar?
Not this evening, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, any item you'd like to have discussion regarding the consent calendar? Colleagues, any questions? Any consent item you want to pull? Okay, I need a motion to accept and a second to on the consent calendar.
So moved.
By Councilmember Jorgens.
I second.
By Councilmember Grindal. Please vote. That passes 5 ayes. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no public hearings tonight. City Council matters. I want to take a moment. I don't know if there's any family members of Mr. Ario. How do you pronounce Ario's last name? Ario's last name is?
Ario Sit.
Sit. Any members of Ario Sit's family here this evening? Just want to remind the family, we did close a council meeting previously in his memory, a citizen who participated on the fire commission and served the community for many years. So we wanted to again extend our appreciation for his service to the communities. I'm going to now turn to council matters, and I will start with Councilmember Contancio.
Yes. Tomorrow is going to be the hat ceremony, which is Hands Across Time and Space. That's at 7 p.m. at the high school. It is $5, but it is very nice because all the students come out to perform and dance different cultural dances. Thank you.
Councilmember Jorgens.
Nothing from the city.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Grindal.
Yes. Okay, there we go. Wanted to remind everyone that the third Coffee with Councilmember Grindal will be on Sunday, March 16th at the Starbucks on Cedar. That's the Starbucks closest to the high school. At 10 a.m., please stop by and be happy to just have a conversation with you. Of course, you can call or email at any time also, but I think some people like to stop by. So please come by, have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or just a water. And I'd really appreciate a chance to talk with everyone. Also just a public service announcement. Tonight is a lunar eclipse called the blood moon. It starts about 10 p.m., but it reaches its peak at about 11:30. So if the clouds clear, you could see something really special that won't be back for at least a year. This is different than a solar eclipse. You can actually look at it without any kind of protection. In addition, of course, tomorrow is Pi Day. 3.14. So have a piece of pie, think about math. Family Day of the Park is going on April 12th at 10 a.m. and at 1 a.m. the same day, Newark Unified School District's having their spring showcase at the high school from 1 to 3. That's sponsored by the Newark Educational Foundation. And this will be the second annual event, and want to encourage everybody to come out and see some of the fantastic programs that are going to be showcased at that spring showcase. And that's what all I have for tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Vice Mayor.
So I just want to say a huge thank you again to Joe, because this last, a week and a half ago, we hosted our first senior seminar workshop that I've been putting together to have more information for workshops for senior citizens. And we did it on cybersecurity and identity theft, and we had the FBI agent come out and talk to us, and Mr. Al Nagy was there, and also Mr. Mike Hannon was there. It was very interesting. We learned a lot about, what was the butchered pig scheme and stuff, some pretty wild stuff. So it was great information. We had a good turnout for the first time. I'm planning the next one. So here's the upcoming events that I have. That one happened a week and a half ago. This Saturday, it's the Don Edwards cleanup. So we're going to be working on Edwards. If you guys haven't heard yet, in the national news, there's been cuts on budgets, and Don Edwards needs some help cleaning up. So we've teamed up, and we have 125 volunteers signed up to come help clean up Don Edwards. We're really excited about it. The best part is they're considered conservation hours, which are very difficult to get for a lot of scouts. We're working on that. We'll be there this Saturday. Also, we have the softball. We have the big opening day for the softball as well. That will be at pretty much the same time, so I'll figure out how to be there at 2 times at the same time. And then on March 22nd is the next VIP Pokemon party. Once again, I'm trying to focus on doing more things for kids. That's going to be focused on the Lincoln kids, and they're going to come out with their collections and swap out some of their collections and stuff like that. April 5th is going to be the Mission Peak Yo-Yo Day. We've teamed up with Fantastic over there, Mr. Cuevas, and we're going to be working on doing yo-yos. We're bringing in the San Francisco Spin Doctors, the professional yo-yoists that are going to come out. They drive all the way from San Francisco for pizza and Coca-Cola, so they're a good price. And then on May 1st is my second senior seminar workshop, which is going to be, what the heck is Social Security? And it's going to be answering questions, if there's even Social Security at that point, we'll find out. But it's going to be answering questions on that. And I'm already working on some projects for the fall, including roles and responsibilities for planning your end of life, working with a funeral home to discuss those things. So I've already got some big projects and workshops coming up in the fall as well.
Quit looking at me when you talk about end of life. Notice she kept looking this way. Not looking that way, she's looking this way. Mr. Benoon, anything, my friend?
Yes, good evening, Your Honor, and members of the council. I do have one announcement, coincidentally, is in regards to the Climate Action Newark program that we're putting together. That event is scheduled for Thursday, April 17th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. There's new information posted on the city's website as it relates to Climate Action Newark. Our environmental services manager, in partnership with the consultant, drafted a community survey, and that community survey is now live. So we encourage residents and community stakeholders to participate in the development of the Climate Action Plan by clicking on the survey and providing honest and direct feedback. Again, that event is scheduled for Thursday, April 17th, and the information that is obtained through the survey will be shared with the community at that time. And we do have an article in the Newark News that will be going out next week or the week after, highlighting the Climate Action Newark plan that we're putting together.
Oh, good, excellent.
That concludes my announcement.
Excellent, thank you, Mr. Benoon. I want to take a moment, this last couple days ago, we had the volunteer dinner, the Violet Blythe Volunteer Dinner, where we celebrated the many volunteers throughout our community who take care of so many issues and areas to which we, the city, would never be able to manage. Whether it be graffiti abatement, trash pickup, reading to kids, there's so many, working at the senior center, working at the parks department. There's so many areas where our residents volunteer and provide services to our community that we, the city, would not be able to provide. And we had the opportunity to thank all those volunteers. And I just want to remind our citizens there are great opportunities to volunteer throughout our community. Certainly reach out to the city manager for some information on that. If you'd like to continue to volunteer, I know Violet Blythe always needs volunteers, Love always needs volunteers. There's a lot of great organizations that need help. So let's make sure we help each other. The Red Cross, so let's make sure and the library, of course, sorry, Joe, that we reach out to all those folks. So thank you to all the volunteers. Your help is greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into closed session for a conference with real property negotiations pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8. Property assessors parcel number 901-200-16, 901-200-17. The agency negotiators, Mr. David J. Benoon, the city manager, and Stephen Turner. Community Development Director. Negotiating parties are LS Newark LLC, Franco Tenelli Esquire, under negotiations, price and terms of payment. So we'll be going into closed sessions. Thank you for your attendance this evening. Congratulations, Mr. Dillon, on being appointed to the Planning Commission. And we're adjourned to closed session.